IYO texting equals NME or NBD. Did anyone understand the abbreviated sentence I just coined? If you are roughly between the ages of 15 to 19, I'm sure that you know exactly what it meant. However, us members of an older generation have no clue what this sentence means. It is an enigma to us, yet so easily perceivable to teenagers. After extensive research, the aforementioned sentence can be translated into, in your opinion, is texting an enemy or no big deal? This is exactly our topic of discussion for tonight's program. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this curious phenomenon?
Discussing modern technology, I'm very concerned about the fact that teenagers will grow up as a bunch of uneducated, basically illiterate adults who will have a similar grasp of the English language as they did when they were 17 and 18, finishing their sixth form. I find this thought absolutely appalling, and to be honest, to me, these are the first steps towards the downfall of the English language as we know it today. To coin the famous quote by Cecil Rhodes, one of the grandfathers of British imperialism, to be born English is to win the first prize in the lottery of life. Therefore, we must protect every aspect of what it means to be English, which of course also includes to uphold the purity of the English language. English is one of the most beautiful and expressive languages in the world, due to the fact that there are roughly 250,000 distinct words, which also makes it the most widely published language in the world. On the contrary, to quote Marcellus Ammianus, the language of truth is unadored and always simple. I'm absolutely convinced that the language developments within younger generations truly underlines a certain level of creativity and high intellect. The fact that this generation has created what is basically their own language is truly remarkable. Furthermore, the abbreviations and acronyms are all very valid, since in this computer-based time, time is literally money, speed is crucial, and the methods of communication seem limitless. Due to a myriad of abbreviations and acronyms created by teenagers, the English language is truly dumbing down, so to speak, thereby making the teenagers or the new generation of students single-handedly culpable and responsible for the debasing of the King's English. The internet was meant to democratize us and set us free, but people don't write anymore. Instead they blog, and they completely ignore punctuation. And this can be reflected in students having trouble to distinguish between the language they use to communicate with one another and the formal English they need in their academic studies.
Back in the day, a business person would solely rely on technology, such as fax machines and letter delivery services, to conduct business transactions. However, a certain change can also be seen in the technology used by businesses today, as emails, post-its, and memos have become a widely spread form of communication, even in a business environment. Our research has shown that a CEO of a business can receive roughly 400 emails per day, if not more, which is indisputably an unmanageable sum. Furthermore, a CEO is obliged to respond to all of these emails in an appropriate time frame.
As a businessman, the topic of shortcuts, abbreviation and English is very controversial, and as a matter of fact, I'm not completely sure if I completely love or detest them. On one hand, they're a great tool to simplify emails, blogs, which are widely used for intercommunication in businesses. For example, instead of writing application, one can simply refer to it as AP. Also, terms like gross domestic product and initial public offering can be abbreviated in the form of a GDP and IPO. This is very useful when it comes to reading up to 100 emails and answering up to 40% of them. However, these abbreviations often result in ridiculous shortcuts which even I, as a CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, find hard to understand. For example, in the shortcuts for transportation, total, and transfer, one simply takes up the vowels to receive words like TTL, TRNSP, and TRNSP. Furthermore, it would be very helpful if these highly incisive and sometimes creative shortcuts would not vary with every reorganization or new director in a company. Sometimes the rate at which these shortcuts change simply seems like a joke, and by the time one has started to remember the old one, it already exists a new one.
It seems as though teenagers have created their own universal language, allowing them to communicate with one another. The implications of this development cannot be foreseen. However, some may predict that this will result in a trembling society in which generations stop interacting with one another, leaving their former counterparts intangible to communicate with. However, to get a true insight into how these young, gifted minds think, it's probably better for us to see what they have to say for themselves.
Hey babe! Oh, I don't know what today, I'm just tanning right now. But like, later I thought I was gonna meet up with you guys. I don't know what we're supposed to do, but you know, like, really? Not, I don't know though, like, sometimes he acts really weird with me, you know? I mean, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, it's just really complicated.
So what do you think about texting and abbreviations?
Well, like, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to live without texting, to be honest. I mean, like, right now I'm getting tons of texts, but I can't answer because I'll be polite to you guys. But I don't know, like, it's my life pretty much, because I don't always want to call my friends and they can't always call me. Like, and it's just really easy.
And do you think it makes your language better or more precise?
Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because, like, when I talk, I can still talk really, like, normal English, you know? But when I text, it's better to, like, use abbreviations and stuff. Because it costs more to text more. So, you know, you try to keep it as short as possible. And I don't know, it's not like that affects my language really. Like, I've always talked like this and it's not like it's gonna change ever. So, well, like, do you have more questions? Because I mean, I want to get back to my friends.
Well, could you give us some examples of common abbreviations that you use?
OMG, like, right now, I really don't know. Like, lol, but it's kind of funny you're asking that because, I mean, you don't seem that old. Like, don't you know? I mean, okay, stuff like baby girl. We just write BBG instead of writing baby girl because that's a pretty long word, you know? And like I love all of my friends so much. But I don't always want to write that, so all I write is like XOXO, and they know I totally love them. Well, I think like our generation is the one that uses technology the most, and we grew up with it, so like we are the technological generation, and like it's what makes us different from the grown-ups, you know? Like, we're not as lame as them, and I mean, I don't want to grow up, to be honest, and I think that the abbreviations and the slang words, they keep us young, kind of, you know, and like...
The Amish, who are sometimes also referred to as Amish Mennonites, are a group of Christian church fellowships which have formed a subgroup of Mennonite churches. The Amish are known for simple living, being plainly dressed, and they're reluctant to adopt many conveniences of modern technology. In contrast to teenagers, these people have grown up completely exempt from the influences of modern technology. We had the luck of interviewing an Amish teenager, give her the chance to express her views on the linguistic developments of the English language and in what ways it has affected her personality.
Well, I grew up being exposed to no technology. Therefore, I did not have to live under the extreme influence of this harmony invention. The intention of these tools of communication is to steal our soul, our pure heart, and our innocent mind. It contaminates our body, cruel images and vibes, and successfully destroys the cohesion of our community. I believe that God gave us everything necessary for living. If He had wanted us to waste our bright minds and our time on useless machines, He would have created a computer out of Adam's ribs and placed it right next to Eve in the Garden of Eden. I am positive that technology has altered language to develop into a beneficial mode of transporting messages, constantly becoming shorter, faster, and more convenient. However, as a teenager who has never been under the influence of technology, I can safely say that a change in language styles and characteristics cannot all be blamed on technology. The language of the Amish people has also transformed from the linguistic styles that were used by our ancestors. Change is inevitable, and in a similar way of how the modern culture got influenced by technology, we got influenced by nature, such as the changing landscape or the varying seasons. Therefore, language development cannot only be blamed on the various types of technology, but also on the natural, social, or religious surrounding of that society, something that's proven to be so influential for my people.
Even though these technology fanatics are often called computer freaks or the derogatory terms, their opinions reveal great insight into how the modern English language is applied in the life of members of our society who are perhaps influenced by it the most.
As you have surely seen from tonight's program, there are as many opinions about the modern developments as perhaps abbreviations and acronyms within it. The documentary can merely show that what the current development of the English language is. However, we are the ones who are actively a part of this development. The ramifications of this development cannot be foreseen. However, it is our responsibility to embrace the English language and make sure that a compromise is found between the traditional King's English and the New English, which has been highly influenced by our modern generation. Thank you, thanks, bye.